So picking up from our last movie, we've already created the subthemes.info file, which lets Drupal know that the subtheme exists. But as we saw in the last movie, we still needed to add our own custom style sheet so it could be picked up along with all the parent style sheets. So I'm going to edit the theme.info file to add a style sheet property. So first, let's actually go ahead and see what that property will look like. So going back to the structure of the .info file webpage in the Drupal theme handbook, we're going to now go down to the property for styles, and that's style sheets. So let's copy this property. Let's go back to our text editor. Remember, I'm using Dreamweaver, and we'll now paste in this declaration line into our theme.info file. So if you've been following along from the last movie, we've been building this subgarland.info file. This version of the file is actually not in your exercise files folder because that's the completed version of the subtheme. So you can go back and refer to that file if you want to see what the difference is between your version is from the completed version. So I've pasted the line of text that declares a style sheet for our subtheme. We need to edit this to actually reflect our own style sheet file. So let's go look at the subtheme that's completed in the exercise files folder in chapter 5 in subgarland. And we see that I've actually named the file custom.css. So I'm going to minimize this folder, and I'm actually going to edit the .info file to say custom.css for the style sheets declaration. Make sure you create a new line and click Save. Let's go back and refresh Drupal to see what happens. So I'm going to go to the tab that is the homepage of our Drupal site, and I'm going to click Refresh. And you're going to see that nothing will change. And this is because Drupal has its own internal cache for themes. So we need to flush the cache. And by doing that, we will then see all the new changes in our theme folder. So to do that, we need to go back to our Drupal theme administration page and actually just refresh the theme administration page. Very simple, and it is a little bit of a nuisance, but it's for performance reasons in Drupal. So let's go back to the homepage now that we've refreshed the theme administration page and essentially cleared the theme cache. We can now refresh, and we see now that there are styles applied all over this page. Let's view the source and see what Drupal is now doing. I'm going to right-click, View Page Source, and I'm going to call out the garland styles first. So we see that there's garland.css and garlandprint.css. But where is our custom.css file? We declared it in the theme info file, but we did not create a file for Drupal to actually pick up and load. Drupal is very smart and actually will recognize that the file is missing, and it will not output any markup that will point to a broken file. So let's go actually create an empty custom.css file for Drupal to pick up. I'm going to go and close the source file that we see here, going back to my text editor. Look at the file name that we want it to be declared, custom.css, and I'm going to say File, New, and I'm going to actually create a new blank CSS file, and I'm going to save this as custom.css and make sure that it gets saved in my Sites, All, Themes, Subgarland folder. Click Save. Now I'm going to view the folder just to make sure. I see the custom CSS file is now there. Let's go back to Drupal. Let's refresh and see if Drupal picked it up. So I refreshed the home page. Remember, this is running our subgarland theme. I'm going to view the page source. And now if we look, we can see that the garland style sheet, style.css, is there. And then, of course, garland's print style sheet. And in between, we notice there is a new style sheet. And this is our subgarland custom CSS file. And again, Drupal noticed that there was an actual file there, So we made all the markup necessary to bring this file in as a style sheet. And just as is expected, it actually provides this style sheet listed after its parent style sheet. And that's using the cascade feature of CSS. I want to point out one more thing about style sheets and subthemes. I named my subgarland style sheet custom.css. I could have named it style.css, similar to how the parent theme is set up, but when you use the same style sheet name as a parent theme, Drupal will actually notice that both the parent and subtheme style sheets have the same name and assumes you want to actually totally override the parent theme. So if we named subgarland's style sheet style.css, Garland would actually not be allowed to render its style.css at all. Since we want to actually build on top of Garland's style sheets, so that's why I named our subgarland style sheet custom.css and not style.css, because I want both style sheets to load. Let's go and try adding a custom style that we can actually see help change the front end of our Drupal site. So I'm going to go back to my Dreamweaver. I'm going to add a new style here, custom CSS, and I'm going to say for the body, let's actually change the color of all the text to be red. Now, I'm not going to keep this. I just want to see if this is actually going to change for us. So I'm showing you a quick, simple change by adding just a single declaration for body color inside the custom CSS file. And of course, since our subtheme style sheet gets loaded after the parent theme, our body color takes priority. So now I'm going to remove that style because really the red doesn't work for us. So let's delete these styles and leave this file empty. So for the next video, we can actually add a new custom style for a new theme region we're going to add to this subtheme.